typing in Falls Area Community TV. Fact TV Government Channel. Keeping government honest.
At Fact TV, our mission is to provide equipment, training, and airtime so people are empowered to create local television. In this way, we offer a community platform for free speech. We also value transparency with coverage of municipal meetings. If you're an area resident and want to learn more, check out our website. Free speech, government accountability, Fact TV.
You can watch us on YouTube at Falls Area Community Government, or Twitter at FactTV8, or Facebook by typing in Falls Area Community TV. Fact TV Government Channel. Keeping government honest.
At Fact TV, our mission is to provide equipment, training, and airtime so people are empowered to create local television. In this way, we offer a community platform for free speech. We also value transparency with coverage of municipal meetings. If you're an area resident and want to learn more, check out our website. Free speech, government accountability, Fact TV.
You can watch us on YouTube at Falls Area Community Government, or Twitter at FactTV8, or Facebook by typing in Falls Area Community TV. Fact TV Government Channel, keeping government honest.
At Fact TV, our mission is to provide equipment, training, and airtime so people are empowered to create local television. In this way, we offer a community platform for free speech. We also value transparency with coverage of municipal meetings. If you're an area resident and want to learn more, check out our website. Free speech, government accountability, Fact TV.
Oh, good evening. We're having some technical difficulties, but it looks like we're good to go for now. This is the Bellows Falls Village Trustee regular meeting. Welcome. It's Tuesday, March 9th, 2021. It's a little after 6:06, down here in the lower theater. I'd like to call the meeting to order. And next would be to approve the minutes of Tuesday, February 23rd, 2021. I would need a motion for that.
Motion to approve the minutes of February 23rd, 2021 trustees meeting.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, any discussion on the minutes? The only thing I have is at the bottom of page 1, where Mr. McAuliffe said he would like to see what village expenses are funded by COVID have actually gone through. Pickup said he would get that report to them for the next meeting. What's the answer to that? Ta-da! Okay, so we will get that, thank you. That was my only concern.
Actually made it extra big font so we can all see it.
Okay, nothing further? Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, we are done with that. Public comment. Is there anybody out there?
Additions to agenda.
Oh, I'm sorry. Additions to agenda for routine administrative matters and/or pressing matters that will require ratification of a future meeting.
No, nothing for tonight.
Okay, and did I have another item here? Oh, yes. Okay, that's for the joint. Never mind. All right, then now we move on to public comment. Is there anybody out there, Shannon?
I do not see anybody.
Okay, then there is no public comment. Thank you. Manager's report.
I'm going to hold off on this. We've got a couple things that we're going to go through with the police update and also some other items. We did want to talk a little bit about budget, so I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about that.
So do you want to put that item I mentioned in the financial piece?
Yes.
Into number 3, okay.
Yep, we'll do that.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, thank you. Moving on to the agenda, we start with the police update, and Chief Bemis is here this evening. You need
Dave, come up and grab a microphone, thanks.
and turn on your microphone, please.
So before the chief starts, I just want to give a couple of updates on some items that we had discussed with you previously that are still ongoing. These are statewide initiatives, but I think it was important to keep the board up to date. Dave has been plugged in with the conversations that have been happening around updates that are being done for our statewide use of force policy, our statewide body cameras and any kind of digital imaging type of policy, and the other one was use of force. So they're all internal affairs, I'm sorry, and internal affairs. They've all been circulated with drafts. There have been comments returned. We don't have a schedule yet as to when those are going to be released back, that we would then have an opportunity to bring them back to this board and discuss them and adopt them potentially as part of our handbook. But those are all 3 going through the process. I'd say we should see something before summer at this point.
I would hope before summer.
Right.
I can't give you a specific date when it will be, but hopefully it'll be before summer.
So I think that was one piece that I know we had talked about back in the fall. These things are moving through the process kind of slowly, but I just wanted to give the board a heads up that they're still out there, still being massaged, and at some point when they're available back to us as a document that we can circulate, we'll definitely circulate it to the board and get it on the agenda so we can have a conversation about those 3. So with that, Dave, you want to go ahead and
Yeah, well, the use of force and the camera policy are probably going to be kind of a universal policy for every department, that they won't be individualized as some are. The internal affairs issue that is being looked into would make it a statewide internal affairs. If there was an issue that the chief needed an internal affairs investigation done, they would contact the division, and we would have to supply officers that could work it. The state's going to be split in quarters. It would be more like Orange, Windsor, and Windham counties. And we would have to sign on to that if we want to become part of that. That's working its way through. They're trying to decide that and figure out the makeup of that. The cameras, they're still not in, but we have got most of the work done from Dominion Tech. We've got the computers that we got through the computers are pretty much set up. The exterior Wi-Fi is set up. The server has been installed. So it is now, we're waiting on Axon to come to get the cameras installed. There may be some work, a little more work done just to make sure that the computers are all working good and all the server and everything's connected and linked up together. But it's pretty well done what they're doing. Dominion Tech has given us hopefully a date in May to have it installed. If we can get it sooner than that, we will. But that's when they're working under difficult circumstances, and they have to go to different states. They have teams that come in, install them, but then they have to quarantine and they have to wait, and when they come, when they leave. So it's a bit of a problem for them.
Dave, I just wanted to be clear, the cameras are here.
Yes,
They're just not installed in the vehicles.
that's correct.
Okay,
We have them.
I know I'll get some people out in the public
no.
asking me that question
No,
later.
we have them. We have
Thank you.
everything. It's just that Axon will be the ones installing them, and they just can't get here.
Great, thank you.
But we did have to get the computer work done, have the server installed, the exterior Wi-Fi and stuff before they could get that done, but that is mostly done.
Okay.
We're planning a community meeting. Hopefully it'll be by the end of next week. We're working with Fact TV, and hopefully by Monday or Tuesday we will have some promos and things on Fact TV, and then by the end of the week, hopefully, I don't have a date and time for it, but we will be getting to that. So yes, yeah. Well, the small bit that they're doing early in the week, that'll be like a 4 or 5 minute, but that won't be interactive, but that will lead us to the interactive one. It's more like a commercial, and my understanding of it is just showing what's going to come. And
Okay. Will it be Zoom?
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Was there anything further at this time?
Nothing right at this point.
No, I'd ask Dave to stay. One of the things we wanted to do, I know we have an executive session later to talk about bargaining, and I thought that part of the discussion, we should have Dave as a guest if we would be able to invite him for that.
Right, was policing part of the staffing discussion on number 2 at all? Because I know we're down a couple of officers.
There is a discussion about that. I think one of the things that we wanted to talk about is, and again, some of this is a little bit sensitive in relationship to, it might impact our collective bargaining, but as we had discussed previously, what we're seeing, and I guess we'll talk in generics and then not into any specific officers or just what the impacts are in our specific department. Other regional departments are, again, as we talked about in the fall, offering cash bonuses for sign-ons for officers. So it's creating some retention difficulty on top of the recruiting difficulty we talked about as well. And so one of the things that we have to take a serious look at is, as this goes forward and as we're having more struggles attracting just a pool of officer candidates, this issue is going to become more of a problem for our scheduling, especially as neighbors start to get more aggressive. It almost becomes an arms race, who can offer the best deal, and people will start to, obviously act in their own self-interest if there's a financial incentive to move. So that's an item that, again, as we go into bargaining later this evening, we wanted to talk a little bit more in detail about, because it will impact our staffing as we go forward. So that's a concern that we have. Dave can talk a little bit about part-timers, because there has been some progress in that area, and then maybe a little bit more about where the academy classes might be standing and where things might end up if we go down that road. So,
Well, there will be a class in June for part-time. Then there's certainly after that, there is in-service training they have to take and field training before they can become certified to work. We have at least one candidate that we're hoping to be sending. They have to pass the entrance exams and information and the background check prior to doing that, but they don't have any experience at this point as law enforcement officers, so that can take up to a year after they go to the academy to get them on the road. And so,
Do any of the trustees have questions for Dave in this section? Okay.
So that's a year for part-timers?
what?
You said that takes
It
a
can
year?
be a year
Up
for
to a
part-
year
it
for
can
part,
be, yes.
the whole prop for part-timers? Going back to the community meeting, is that, I'm assuming that's part of the follow-up to what we discussed back like in late last fall?
Yes.
That community-
Expectations.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks.
Is that it? Okay. Did you have anything? No, we're good. Oh, you do? Okay. Go ahead, Jeff.
Just for some clarification on the community meeting, is that something that's just designed by the police department itself, or is there a representation from the public that's
Well,
helping with that?
Officer Buckley is working with with Alex there to work on this, at least the first meeting, to get it going, and certainly the next meetings and the meetings after that, we can change them. We can do them differently. If something works, we'll save it. If it doesn't work, we'll cast it aside and go with something else for the meeting. So
Great, thank you.
but with the Zoom meetings and everything, it's always more difficult than being in a room with everybody. So we'll do what we can, and
I understand. Thank you.
sure.
Okay, good. Thank you, David. All right, so then we would move on to staffing discussion. Scott?
yes. So I guess, police is one part of that equation. And as we had talked about in the fall, our recruitment efforts have been frustrating, to say the least. We're running into some issues with retention because of this issue of other area departments offering sign-on bonuses and other considerations. We'll have to take a hard look at how that works for us, and that's part of why we wanted to meet later on this evening and have that conversation. The other areas that it's impacting us, at least in terms of our budget discussions, as we've discussed, we do have a contract with the rest of our employees. So I think we're okay in relationship to staffing the rest of our core services. It seems to be a greater impact right now in the uniform services than it does in some of our other areas, like the wastewater plant or in our water plant or some of those types of services. At this point, at least, we're not running into the same types of problems that we're having with trying to staff uniform services. So, and again, in this building, for the most part, as we've talked about, we're looking at level funding. We don't have any particular new positions or new staff that we are going to propose to the budget process. I think at this point, we're going to, see how we rebound post-COVID, like most organizations are looking at before we make any additional moves or considerations on where we are with, full-time or other additional staffing requests, at least from our end. So that's where we are, just in a large-scale conversation about staffing. I know that we've had various questions at meetings about operational staffing, so we can certainly discuss those if the trustees are interested, or we can save those and have those as part of the budget discussion. So I'll leave it up to the board's pleasure.
Okay. Any questions? Diggs, go ahead.
I would think that for our first look at the budget, we ought to stick with the current staffing levels, and then if there's proposed changes up or down, then we can do that in our budget discussions.
Okay.
That's March
Would be
21st, right? That's March 21st. I think that's
I think
23rd.
23rd.
That's our first one. Okay.
That's our first meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First meeting.
Yep.
Anyone else here on the staffing discussion? Okay, and we'll be talking about it more in executive session. All right, that puts us into financials. And we do have the documents we received. Everyone
Right.
got their paperwork?
I guess before we get into the specific attached financials, I did want to give you, from our last meeting, you had asked for a breakdown of some of the items that were reimbursed through the Elder grant through COVID. So I'll hand this out.
Uh-oh.
I know, they're all sticking together here.
Thank you.
So we have not heard anything more from the state in relationship to additional cost reimbursements or additional programs that might extend into 2021. I think, quite frankly, they're waiting to see the status of legislation that comes from the Congress this week, and then I think there'll be probably some trickle down through the states and maybe some continuation of some of the programs. So I don't know if this will be all that we'll see, or if there'll be some additional opportunities to capture some more costs and have a reimbursement either through federal money or through state money. But this is what we have received so far to date.
So this is the amount that's been expended. Is this also the amount received?
This is based on the reimbursement that we received, the check that we received at the end of December.
Okay, is there anything left, or is it zeroed out? I guess that's what I want to know, if you have any more money left over for additional.
No, in terms of what we applied for, it was the previous amounts were reimbursed. The question will be, if we go forward with anything additional, then we don't have anything pending yet.
Right, so the amount's based on receipts.
Yeah.
That we send them. Got
Yeah.
it, okay. Anyone else? Yes, Jiggs.
Now, are these specific items village-related items, or is this the total list?
No, this is only village related. There's
Okay.
additional items that were town
Yeah.
specific that were.
Now, for example, when we look at our computer costs here, we're way over budget. Does this, for example, this Dominion tech item of 21,000, is that going to offset some of that over budget situation, or is this all in addition to?
Well, it'll offset a portion of the spending of what we talked about with the Axon systems and the support for the cameras in the cars. So that will offset some of that cost. I think that as far as Shannon was still working on some of the updates so that we can run the first, she's working on a couple things, trying to finish up some of the journal entries for some of the balances that we had talked about, as well as the first run of the budget. My understanding is these have not been posted specifically to accounts yet. So for example, that money would not show up right now in the police budget. So the expense is
Okay.
there, but the reimbursement has not been recognized yet
Has not been
in the
recognized.
current year.
All right. Okay. That would be, obviously, that's the second piece of this that we're interested in, type of thing. So
Yes.
Yeah.
So we have to,
If
we'll
this-
get those posted so that when we run that first set of numbers for the March 23rd meeting, we'll have that available so we can walk through and have a sense of, not only where we are, but then I doubt we'll know at that point. I think it'd probably be a little bit early to know if we're going to get anything additional, including, reimbursement and some of our utility accounts that we had received last year as well. So we'll just have to see how that progresses.
I thought I might see on this list something related to police officer time. I'm just surprised that with everything that, particularly in the early goings, some of the issues that Chief Bemis had to face. I'm just surprised that there's not more of a indication of that time, police time.
It had been submitted, but for some reason it was not, all of the chief's time was not deemed eligible.
I didn't mean specifically the
Right.
chief, but I meant
Right.
the police.
Yeah, the routine
Okay.
types of staffing and patrol they did not cover.
Right.
Right.
I didn't know if there were any.
The staff that were covered by the Elder Grant were the emergency planning committee that was established at the beginning of COVID.
Okay, thank you. Did that cover your questions there, Jake?
Yeah,
At this
yeah.
point? Okay. Anyone else? You guys have any questions on these items? Okay, thank you. Much appreciated putting this stuff together. So these are not posted under particular accounts as yet.
No,
I noticed the cameras weren't there, so I'm
Correct.
assuming the same thing with the rest of it. Okay.
right. So we'll have that for you for the 23rd.
Okay.
So,
Awesome, thank you.
I'm sorry, guys, just one more thing. Jeff and Chief, we cannot hear you guys because I don't know if your mics are off or if you're not speaking into them.
gotcha. Okay.
And you might
Thank
pull them a little closer to your face. Sometimes you have to be right on them, especially with a mask on.
I know.
Okay, so is there anything else before people ask questions about the budget?
No, that's it for this portion.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, questions on the budget, on the finances so far? Anybody want to be first? Let me see. I'm definitely over into these. Jake, did you have anything, or you got a list? of
I've
stuff?
got a list.
Okay. I have one that's particularly bothered me. It's been bothering me for months. It's still the same problem, and I don't understand. Page 1 of 16, why the current taxes received lists the entire amount of anticipated taxes, although we still have a May expectation of payment on the last quarter of the budget. I don't understand why it says 1,444,099, and that's exactly actual, and that's not real.
So
To me, an
that's-
actual number means an actual, Shannon, so please explain why this never moves.
Sure, that's a function of NEMRIC. So once you put in the tax bills for the year, that's what's allocated there. I called Cynthia from NEMRIC to discuss this with her, and we cannot change that. But I would love, if you would like, Deb, we could call her together just so that you have a better understanding. It's just a function of the accounting software and not something that we as finance staff do.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I wouldn't mind a deeper dive on that, because I don't understand why that number is there when in reality we haven't received it, and the likelihood is we won't receive all of those taxes. So, I mean, how do you back them out when people don't pay?
So it's in the financials, and I can better, explain this to you if we sit down.
Okay.
So we have open accounts receivable at the end of the year,
Mhm.
and that's what those are, which offset our current taxes received. I've never worked in an accounting software that does this either, so I totally get your frustration, and
Yeah.
it took me a minute, but I definitely think that Cynthia can better explain it, and any of you that would like to sit in on that call, I would encourage you to join me.
Okay, so we'll just pick a time, Shannon, that's
Right.
fine.
Because I have a bunch of other items that we're
To ask 'em?
working through as well.
Yeah.
Based on some of our other challenges.
I mean, one of our goals was, of course, to try and track and see what was happening with payments during this year of COVID. During the pandemic, how has it impacted our taxpayers, and how likely are they able to continue paying quarter to quarter? And we can't tell.
Well, so
Okay.
last tax payment, I issued you a past due account statement. So
Right.
I plan to do that after each tax billing, which would tell you what is currently outstanding. It is a total of outstanding for all years, but it does have a line that tells you what's outstanding for this current.
For this
fiscal
year, right. Okay, so after May 10th, there would be one sometime at the end of the month.
But I can print you guys one tomorrow just to let you know where we are, and I can email it to you so you have that.
I don't know if anybody's as frustrated about the number as me, so maybe nobody else cares.
No, I'm used to the way they
do it. I
record
just
that revenue, yeah.
don't
I
like
think-
it.
But what I would say is that the second line there, which is the abatements,
Yep.
that obviously comes directly off.
Right, exactly.
The unpaid taxes, okay, become a receivable.
Mhm.
And my understanding is unless we specifically write them off, it doesn't come out of our numbers, doesn't come out of our fund balance.
Mhm.
Well, we don't have to write them off. So anything that we have not collected at the end of the year
Yeah.
is applied against the current taxes receivable on the balance sheet. So it's sitting there as an open AR item that we have not received.
Right.
And as we,
Oh, I understand that, yeah.
yeah, so Jigs has the right idea.
Okay.
But it's not an easy concept.
No. Thank you. That was mine. I think Jake
Okay,
has
I
a
got a
list.
couple.
I just want to make sure if you guys want to make sure look down the table, see what else you guys have. Okay, go ahead, Jake.
On page 4, this isn't big dollars, but I noticed under the safety building, public safety building, we've used up our janitorial budget. That's used at the police department. The fire department, I think, does their own cleaning, but did they raise their rates or something on us, or what's the deal there?
I'm 100%, but I will also follow up with you guys. This is due to the COVID protocols, and also COVID incidents that we've had.
Okay.
We need to be sterilizing. In order to be open, we have to be in compliance with the state of Vermont.
Okay, that makes sense.
So frequency of cleaning has increased over the last year.
Yeah. Okay.
And the degree of cleaning too.
Yeah.
Has to go in.
Is that an eligible COVID expense type of thing, or?
It is. We would be submitting for that in the next Elder grant.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. The next one I had was on page 5. This is in the fire department budget. Again, it's not big dollars, but it's called office expense. And
Oh, yeah.
we're at 244% of what we budgeted. So something must have occurred.
Well,
Yeah,
then-
let me look into that and just see if anything got miscoded into there. And I'll get back to you on that too. I'll put all of this in an email with the past due tax statement tomorrow.
Okay. The other, my next comment, there's one on page 6 and then another on page 9, which is vehicle maintenance, one for the fire department and then the police department. And we're we've used up our budget in the fire department, and we're 92% used up in the police department. My question is more of what can we expect this to look like at the end of our fiscal year?
So the fire department should be all set with all of their vehicle maintenance. And Dave can probably speak better to this, but with this vehicle maintenance allotment of 10,000, they had projected, I think, last year, the year before, to buy a new vehicle. So this is slightly increased due to the fact that, you know, we're running some pretty beaten up old vehicles. Like one of the cruisers right now doesn't have any heat. So just the older the vehicles are, the more maintenance they need. So we didn't spend the 50,000 on a police car, or 40 or whatever it is, a year or two ago. And so we just have more vehicle maintenance than we expected.
Okay,
We should consider anticipating that in budget season.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have an issue.
Yep.
Yeah.
But just think, in like a month, you won't even need any heat in the cruise. That's rude,
That's right.
but you know what I mean.
Okay.
Yeah,
need that
there's a
during
lot
rainy-
more than
rainy
just the
season
heat
when
with
it
that
clogs up your
cruiser.
windshield. So,
The next item is also on page 5. And just to
back.
call everybody's attention, our expenditures for 66 Atkinson are now up to 5155. I must admit, I'm not sure we even have a plan. But we've got this suit outstanding.
Yep, still in
but,
court.
I'm sure that's the reason for that account going up. But, again, I hope we're all on board that that's the right way to proceed with it. So,
I think that once we're in, we have to at least see the suit through.
well, you
And
can always pull it, I
I
suppose.
suppose we could pull it. I mean, what we have.
But I would,
discussed what
I
we
would
do
just
next.
mention that, Scott, to,
Right.
kind of think about it with
I know the
with
last time we
Shannon.
talked, they had not made much progress on it. I
No.
think the last time we went through this.
And
No.
again, if we win, what do we win? I mean, I don't think we win anything.
Well, a judgment at this point would probably put us in a position. One thing you would do is obviously that would be an additional expense that we would have to hold as a lien against the property.
Right.
And at that point, you're looking at unpaid taxes on top of these other expenses, plus
Yep.
other expenses to secure the property. So we'd have to talk about how we'd want to recover all
Would do
that.
next, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is delinquent in taxes, so.
yes, it
Yeah.
is.
And
Which is not as much as the amount of money we've already spent on legal.
Actually, it's a little more.
Is it more
We
than that
looked at
now?
it today.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Back
Deb,
to the-
just so you know, when you're ready for public comment, there is some.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we did public comment. Nobody was here.
No, I'm sorry, just talking
Oh,
about,
on the subject.
On
Okay, got
budget?
it.
Okay.
Of
Or
finance. That's
finance,
fine.
right,
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry.
Jigs, you have
Do you
more
want to
things?
take that one? Or?
Yes, go ahead. The person who wants to speak on this subject, please chime in and give us your name, please.
Yes, hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
This is Gaetano Putignano up here on Keefe Road. Madam President, I had a question. Jiggs had just brought up the subject about custodial services in the public service building, and I had brought this question up last year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if it's in your sights to have that discussion this year about the very much full-time police department paying to have their services cleaned, and the fire department, which is a one-man full-time position, doing all their cleaning.
Oh, what are you suggesting? Currently we pay for service to clean and sterilize the police department. However, the one man staffer in the fire department does it all himself. So what are you suggesting we do, Mr. Pugnano?
You want my suggestions?
Go ahead.
I know, we know what you're saying.
Oh, I think your suggestion is that they do
know.
it themselves, but I
Well-
want to hear what you have to say.
That would be my suggestion, sure, but if we're questioning office expenses and vehicle maintenance, if you're looking to save money, wouldn't that be an area to explore?
It is. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
Okay,
good.
the next item
Thank you.
is on page 8, which is actually the capital and equipment fund. And to my surprise, we show an expense of $7,231.
That's the cameras, right?
The balance sheet is further back, and that it looked like we had maybe 3,000 available. So we have a deficit in that, and I don't know how that gets funded unless we transfer money. So
Yeah.
the
That,
grant,
the difference will be covered by the Alger grant.
okay, all right, excellent.
That was, I think, highlighted in the document that
Right.
Scott
Right.
provided us.
Exactly.
And it will
Yep.
be one of the items that we'll post before we
Yep,
run. the
72,
next
31,
set.
42. It's listed. Yep.
Yep.
Okay, that's all I have on the general fund.
Okay.
Now, on 66 Atkinson, maybe it wouldn't be too bad if maybe somebody was to buy it and like put condominiums
It
in
would
there
be
or something.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, technically for $1, somebody might, be able to acquire it if they really make that kind of investment. Wade, did you have anything?
I just had one question on page 11 of the water fund, and I think this was explained before possibly, but the 55 Pine Street budget and actual for that project,
Where are we on the page?
page 11 of 16 for
Oh,
water.
you're looking, okay, you're
Yeah.
looking at the bottom of general government there.
Project
Expenditures.
expenditures.
Got it. Yep.
So the project expenditures, those are always just estimates. And what happens with those is that they get put into fixed assets and we depreciate them. So this section actually just gets wiped out at the end of the year. So these are just placeholders. We give our best estimate, and also work carries over from year to year. So we had Pine Street in the budget for FY20 as well, and we didn't come anywhere near what we had in there. So as far as rates and increasing rates based on these project expenditures, that's not how we figure what we need for rates going forward. But again, these are not expenditures as per se. They get moved into fixed assets and then depreciated.
And we will have bonds that will then, we'll have a debt schedule that will be associated with that. I think we just finished one of those in March, if I remember. That'll be reflective. So one of the things that we'll look at when we look at your budget is also where we are with our debt and our projection as we go forward. So there are some things in there that need to be discussed.
Okay.
Thanks.
You good? Okay.
I've got a few items on the water fund, but I didn't know.
Okay. Stefan, did you have anything, at least on general fund? Just general fund, okay.
Okay, on the water fund, on page 9, the item under revenues called Westminster Interest INT Grant. What is that, and when is that expected to be paid?
So that is paid in 2 payments, and we've received half of it, and it will be posted in your next financials. It was received in March.
Okay. It'll be posted we'll see it we'll see it in April, but it'll be posted at the end of March, because we don't have financials every time.
Right.
Meeting.
Well, but I do intend on bringing updated financials to the first budget meeting, because that would be beneficial.
Of course, yes.
Okay.
That's great, thank you.
All right. Also on page 9, under the cell tower lease, we did receive 5,000, whatever it was.
One of the payments we did get, yes.
5,499.
Not posted yet.
And well, it's posted in the general fund, so
Right,
I think we should.
Not moved here. Right.
Yeah, I think we should at least show it and in and out, since we still.
Right, we won't be collecting the 20,000 as we talked about.
Right.
So that will have
That's
to
the last
be-
payment we're gonna
Right,
get.
it'll have to be a journal entry for.
Yeah, I missed that journal entry to add it to expenses and revenue in the water fund.
We will make sure we
Okay.
do that. Yep.
Then on page 10, down under professional services, the first line, consulting, legal and audit, is that the audit fees to date?
It is the audit fees to date, but I do have to do an allocation across all of it. So we did not pay the final audit bill until we finished the audit, so we're still holding it. So you will see that also in your next set of financials.
Okay,
It's
because,
their portion, right?
yeah, because, we also have, 4 or 5 items below, we show audit / financial services. So
What's the difference?
the question is, maybe we should drop legal and audit from that first line and just have it consulting or something. But
Yeah, what I would like to do is have like legal and consulting in one line and just audit in another, if that makes sense.
that does, yeah.
Okay, so we'll
Right,
do
'cause
that this budget season.
Just above audit and financial services, it also says legal services. There's another $5,000 there.
Right.
So, okay.
Okay. Well, the other question was on the next page, page 11, and it had to do with the Pine Street estimate of 350 and the actual of 473. The 350 apparently was estimated as a revenue item from
Right.
bond proceeds. In actuality, are the bond proceeds going to be higher than the 350 because we spent 472?
If you remember last year in FY20, we also had bond proceeds and project expenditures for Pine Street.
Mhm.
And sometimes they hit or miss exactly a fiscal year because most of these are summer projects. So if we go over the billing of July 1st or don't make the payment till after July 1st, and that's what happened in this case. But they just offset each other. So how it works with these project expenditures, water, sewer, highway, is that we have the projects done and then we bill the bonds bank, or if we're eligible for grants or anything like that, I submit billing as we go. It's periodic billing. We don't wait till the end. But until we've spent all the money and we close out, we can't receive the proceeds. So we have closed all of these out and just we will be receiving payment. We were accepted for payment. But what we do is we move these project expenditures into fixed assets and depreciate them because they are enterprise funds. So when at the end of the day, after the audit, there is no project expenditures in here because they're moved to fixed assets.
Is that explanation acceptable to you, Diggs?
Well, the whole area of our debt, the debt schedule, the payments on the debts, and the balance sheet, specifically in terms of the due to and due from, is still this overriding issue. And that certainly, in looking at the balance sheets included in here, that certainly has not been resolved. We show a
So that's
negative.
going to be resolved when we receive the payments for all these projects. So we've been outlaying the cash for Burt, Blake, Pine, and until it was completed, we weren't eligible for reimbursement. We bill them periodically, they accept it, they approve it, but we just finished. So all of those funds that we received from the bond bank and for, it was the Vermont water systems, that will all go against our due to from, because right now that's sitting there. So once we're paid back all of that, it will reduce our due to from.
But we've got to see that. We're still
No, well, we
very
need
much
to
in
receive
limbo.
the payment.
Right, but we'll get the breakdown so that you can also see what that is, and then it'll also
What it looks
dovetail
like.
into our debt discussion that we were mentioning earlier as well.
Right.
Because there are some
Right.
impacts that we have to talk about as we
Right.
look at our,
But our debt schedule won't change. So when we did the debt schedule for these bonds for Burp Lake Pine, these really big projects, what we did is we made the adjustments on the back end of the bond schedule, so 30 years out. So what we said is, let's project we take every penny for these projects, and if we come in under, we will reduce the payments in the back end. So our bond schedule payments will not change until the last 5 years of the bond payments. So what you're looking at, your debt schedule will not increase or decrease for the near future. So what you're looking at is actual payments.
I think once we have the debt schedule in front of us, we can walk through that. I
Yeah.
think it'll be clear. It's
yeah,
hard to do it in.
It's hard to deal with it
Yes.
in that.
I know what you want to look at. It's just without it in front of you, it becomes a little less clear. So we'll make sure that we have that out for discussion.
I have a question about, is there a standard period of delay in which you get payment? So we're billing progressive billing throughout the project.
Right.
And then when the project is complete and we're being approved, and then once the project's complete, then we start receiving revenue. Is it 6 months?
We were, well, so we just this summer completed Pine Street and substantial completion, and then we did walkthroughs, and there was small things that had to be done.
The punch list for the fall. So Pine Street got, I think we did our final sign-offs in December or early January.
Oh, okay.
Right after the holidays.
But we will be receiving payment any day. There's actually a minimal delay because all of the payments that I have submitted and invoices, they have already approved those as we've gone along.
Jake, did anyone have anything else on water? Did you have anything else on water?
No.
Did you have anything on wastewater?
No, not really. I think it all gets to the bookkeeping and the cash flows for for the wastewater fund, which, again, looks like it's in bad shape. And so we really got to get the accounting done.
Yeah.
And
Good. So, does anyone have any other questions on our?
the only thing I'd mention is I guess for our next meeting, is that when we're going to see another, an analysis on the
Sludge dryer?
the dryer?
I'll check and see if we're gonna do it that meeting or the meeting.
Or the following, okay.
Or the
the
following.
following.
I don't recall, so I have to look at our schedule. It was one of the other jigs. I just don't recall. But we'll have it for one of the primary discussions on wastewater, so I'll have it for that.
While we're on that topic, I believe I sent each of the board members, including the manager, if I'm accurate memory-wise, there was an article on that landfill in Coventry. It could be a bump in the road in the future, reference what we do.
Yeah, I did see some of that.
Where we were bringing the
Where
wet
we're bringing
stuff.
the sludge.
Yeah, the wet sludge disposal is gonna get more and more complicated. Not gonna
Yeah, so
get, it's not gonna get
it's good for us
easier.
to get away from that.
I think having an alternative is a very good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, if we're done with financials, then we move on to review agenda items for the next meeting. Of course, that's our budget meeting, March 23rd.
Right.
Right, so
Regular
we
time,
do
so
owe you
have
an update on our Mitel migration and our Crescendo phone system, so I will have that for you at that meeting. As well as we'll do the update on the financials and the first cut on the budget.
Okay.
With the updates that we had talked about as well, so.
Right. Good. Okay, so that's what we have for there. We have a number of agenda items for the joint board meeting. And you can see those there: marijuana article discussion, Depot Street Bridge, Memorial Park, assistance to the firefighter grant, autonomous vehicle discussion with the other board. Also, Peter and I thought we might touch on the Great River Hydro relicensing.
Mhm.
as it will have an impact on us. When we get that, that's our opportunity, which the window will close at some point. And they're planning on changing the way they run the flow, which looks like it might be a better plan now. So. Do we have any orders, bills, and warrants to review this evening?
I did not bring anything down. Shannon, I don't recall seeing anything. Did I miss them? I might have.
Probably.
They are up there, yeah.
Oh,
So
damn it.
next meeting.
All right. Well, you know what? I can bring them. When you call for executive session before we start.
Oh,
I'll
you can
run
go
up
get
and
them then?
go
Yeah,
grab 'em.
okay.
My bad.
I don't know if we want to move it if we don't see them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, why don't we wait?
You want me to
until the-
hold them and we can do them? Because we
Next
are going to
meeting.
meet again.
Yeah,
Okay, my bad.
exactly.
I apologize.
That's okay. Other business. Scott, do you have anything else?
No, nothing else for tonight.
And you wanted something before we get to other business. What is it, Wade? Go ahead.
Back to the joint board meeting?
Yep.
Can we go back to that?
Yeah.
Sure.
I have two things that I'd like to put on there, but if we think we have enough there, they certainly can wait till the next one.
Okay. What would those things be? Just
Discussion of the 26-year-old fire committee agreement. And,
Okay.
and also the, how do I want to say this? Saxons Rivers contract for fire protection with the town of Athens.
okay. Those, of course, those
But they
look like
can wait.
both.
I mean,
both those are town things, right? So.
They are, but so it'd be a joint thing.
Yeah. No, I get that.
But I can wait till the following one because there's quite a lot on there now.
Yeah, and I was wondering. I thought the fire committee was working on reinvigorating itself. Did that kind of slowed?
They worked on the assistance to firefighter grant, and it seemed like that momentum was kind of continuing. So
Okay. Well, that'd be a good opportunity to bring those things up
Right.
at the meeting for sure, and start the conversation early, and then get to the next joint board meeting and whatever, and see if they maybe something happens between now and then.
So you're going to add them 2 items on there?
I would just throw them underneath the assistance to firefighter grant and just add
I
on.
can bring copies and distribute them, and just
Yeah,
sort of maybe
just
have
add
a
those
quick
underneath so
say.
we can start the discussion.
Yeah.
Sure, I don't see why not. Let me see. Other business. Wait, did you have other business?
No, that was a.
Dave, did you have any other business interested in here? All right, Jake.
Just, we received this letter from abutters to 37 Old Terrace. And we had had a visit back before the end of the year with a couple that are looking to develop some.
Oh, Lily Pad.
Yes.
Yes, I
Right.
remember them.
And I know at that meeting I expressed how leery I was of that building being a good candidate for multifamily. But anyway, I just wanted to acknowledge receipt of the letter, and that I'm sure it's going to go through a process if the buyers or proposed buyers are going to pursue it, type of thing. But
Right, I would think that would hit the design review board, which the town and planning would be handling, which would be great. So
I think that's one of the properties that they discussed potentially as a board of abatement item. And talking with Kathleen, there might be a meeting this month. We're sort of waiting to see.
Oh, we haven't been notified yet.
No.
Right.
So I think we've sort of held out on some dates in case.
Yep.
But have not got anything specific yet, so.
okay.
But it would be brought to that meeting for sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
Anything else, Dick?
Nope, that's it.
I had a couple of things. Number one, Thursday at 7 p.m. And I'm assuming we're doing it down here.
Yes,
Okay.
in the ice chamber.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, exactly. Even though it was like 40-something degrees outside, it's definitely cold down here. The automated vehicle forum will be started here at 7 o'clock on Thursday evening. And that's for anyone in the public, including board members, basically sponsored by select board and trustees, for the public to come in and see what they have to show. Some of it's some actual live action film of what happens and how they operate, how they stop people and cars and so on and so forth, and an opportunity for questions. there'll be a lot of, there'll be material available and a lot of opportunity to ask these kinds of questions, because we still haven't, the select board hasn't chosen anyone yet to be on the working group. So we haven't gotten even that far because Mr. Golick was not reelected, so we have to choose someone. They'll have to choose somebody else and get that moving forward. But it's a first opportunity for the public to weigh in and ask questions and try to get some answers to understand where we are with that. Although we're probably could be a few years down the road before we actually have any interest in doing that. But at this point, just to see if we were still interested in whether we want to be a testing community or not. So that's Thursday, coming up in 2 days. Also, one of the things that I had heard from some business owners recently is that they're getting desperate because they can't reopen their businesses due to the pandemic. Things are still closed. And it doesn't matter whether it's food or clothing or whatever it is, but they don't know what to do. They would like to see our local organizations help them, but they don't know what they can do for them. Financial perks are not coming to them as quickly as they may be coming to individuals if everyone sees their $1,400 from the government. I put it out to, just putting it out there, I put it out to BIFTA and the chamber and to both of our representatives and our local Senate people to ask them what they're working on, what are the potentials. Do we need to start a GoFundMe account for community businesses that will die? I understand the natural death of businesses that happens, but this is unnatural. I just want to ask our community, to, as many people as can afford to, please try to spend some of your dollars with our local businesses. They're desperate to stay open. They're dying to please you. They want to survive, and they are part of our community. So do whatever you can. I'll do whatever I can, and hopefully some of the people who can tap into better resources than myself up in Montpelier or Fedwide might have some programming that's coming down the pike that could help them stay alive and get through the rest of this. Thank you. That was it. Stefan.
No, I was up north. And there's actually quite a few eateries that are actually open, operating. So they fly with the criteria.
Is this New Hampshire or Vermont?
Vermont. Yeah. Aside from that, no, I don't have anything else at this time.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right, we do have a need for an executive session on labor relation agreements with employees. If you would be so kind, we have to do 2 motions.
I want to make the motion to enter into an executive session where premature or general knowledge may clearly place the municipality at a substantial disadvantage in reference to labor relations with employees. I believe per 1 VSA 313A and 1, if I'm correct.
I think there's 2 motions on the other side. Did they note it?
Okay. I first made a note. The first motion. Do we need
I need a second for that?
Second for that.
All right. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Second motion, please.
Okay. I move that the board enter into an executive session to discuss labor relations agreements with employees per Title I, 313A1 of the Vermont State Statutes.
Great.
And invite
the chief.
And invite.
And invite Chief Bemis and the manager.
And the municipal manager, Scott Pickup.
Thank you. Need a second.
I'll second that.
All right. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you. Good night, folks. We are now out of session into executive session. Thank you.
Deb, would you mind just writing down time